please feel free to take out your phones, take pictures. I have no problem with that. But yeah, we will get started now. So to introduce myself a little bit further, my name is Ian Butler. I am the Digital Service Squad member at Community Futures Yellowhead East. So at Community Futures Yellowhead East, we specialize in training, coaching, and lending specifically for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And I specialize in the online section of that stuff. So website development, content creation, digital advertising, general tech help, much more. Realistically, if it's related to online or technology in any way, I can probably help with it. And like I said, it is specifically for small businesses. So like corporations and franchises wouldn't really be eligible for my support, but I can still be able to provide resources and stuff like that as well. Um, and my position is all completely funded by the government as well. So if you want to talk to me or know anyone that might want to talk to me, it's all completely free, no costs or anything like that as well. So just keep that in mind. I'll have all my contact information, stuff like that at the end of the presentation for anyone who's interested. And of course, you can come up and talk to me as well. So to get us started, I just want to go over like what actually is a Google business profile and what can it do. So a Google business profile is the first thing that almost anyone will see when they're searching online for your business or anything related to your business. You've probably seen these before, and you should realistically know what it is. You can even test it right now if you have a phone. If you go onto Google and you type in a business name or you type in cabs near me or pizza near me or anything like that, on the desktop, it's usually a thing that pops up on the right-hand side with the business and all their information. And on your phone, it's usually the thing that takes up the center of your screen. It's that thing where you have the reviews, you have the pictures, and you have all the information about the business. That's a Google business profile. And you probably guess why it's so essential, because it is literally the first thing that anyone will see when they're looking for your business, or like I said, anything related to your business. That's usually the first thing that's going to pop up. So having one of those on Google and having it all filled out and all nicely laid out is really essential to getting that natural growth online. So as I mentioned, it's the first place where most of the customers will find your basic information about your business. And on your Google business profile, they have they have the opportunity to put things such as location, reviews, hours, contact information, pictures, and much more. Those are just the basic things, but you can also like link your social media. You got links to your website. There's a question and answer section. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do with the Google business profile. And the best part about it is 100% free. So if you do not have a Google business profile for your business, you are really not doing yourself any good. They're very simple to set up. There are a few things that might be a little bit tricky, but once you do it and you have it set up, it's done. You, generally speaking, don't need to work on it or anything too much. You get it set up, you get it all updated, make sure the information stays accurate, and it's said and done. It's not like your Facebook or your Instagram where you need to be uploading and constantly putting stuff on there. So it's really nice, really great. It's free, and we will go over a little bit more about it and how it can help you. So how can a Google business page actually help improve my online presence? First off is your discoverability, also referred to as SEO. This is a term that you probably hear thrown around a lot. SEO stands for search engine optimization. Basically speaking, it's the process of making your content optimized so that search engines like Google, Bing, even search engines in like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, optimizing it so those platforms can find your content and deliver it to the right people. So having a Google business page will help that by giving Google more information about your business, so Google can recommend your business to people who are looking for the services or looking for your exact business. And like I put there, over 92% of people use Google as their main search engine. So if you're not listed on Google, there's potentially a lot of people that you're missing out on finding about your business. So pretty essential that you are on there somewhere for people to be able to find you. Next is professionalism and trust. Having your business listed on Google is a great way for professionalism and make it seem more official and trustworthy. So I'm sure you guys might have experienced this before as well. If you go to look for a business and a Google business page doesn't pop up and you have to search through all those little links, it kind of adds a little bit like, ooh, is this legit? You know, maybe they're a little bit rough around the edges. Like, why don't they have a Google business profile? It's just it adds a lot of questions and makes it harder for people to find your business. So if you have that page, it just makes you look a lot more official. It's very easy for people to find that information and adds a layer of trust that people might not have had before. Something that not a lot of people think about, but I think it's very important to mention. Thirdly, we got keeping customers updated. So as I previously mentioned, it is very easy to update and make your Google business profile. So this can just be simple things like changing your hours. So maybe you get lots of calls like, oh, when are you open? When are you open? When are you open? Well, you can just go onto your Google business page and update your hours whenever you need to, so that whenever people are looking, they'll just see, oh, they updated their hours earlier this month. It tells them at the very top when you last updated your hours, so they'll know that you're keeping it updated, and hopefully you get less of those phone calls or less of those emails and stuff like that. There's other things that you can put on there as well. If you have special deals going on, if you have an event going on, there's a section for that on the Google business page where you can update that and you can remove it after the event or deal is done. So if you have sales and stuff like that, you can always put that on there and let people know for anyone who's searching for your business. Um, but yeah, just having the information there, easy to update, easy to change. And lastly is the ability to interact with your customers. So there's features like reviews, questions and answers, and also messages on Google. So these are all ways that you can further interact with your customers and your clients. Reviews are probably the most important one out of all of that. The better reviews are on Google, does realistically two things. One, when people have really good reviews on Google, Google will naturally recommend your page to more people. And secondly is whenever someone is looking at your page, and once again, I'm sure you guys have all done this, if a page has 3 stars and then there's another one that has 4.8 stars and they offer the same stuff, you're probably just going to go with the one with the higher stars, right? So having good reviews and keeping them updated and responding to them is really essential to having a great online presence and a great Google business profile. And we'll touch a little bit more about that here in a second as well. Uh, So here, I want to go over a good example of a Google business page and a poor example. So right here, I picked up Aquarius Beauty Boutique. They're a local hairstylist here in town. I've helped them with their Google business profile. Before they came to me, they had quite literally nothing on their page. And they're very confused at why they weren't ranking well when you search like white court barber, white court hairstylist. They weren't popping up anywhere. And they're like, well, we're missing out on a lot of people because no one's finding us online. So I helped them, give them some general advice here, and we can kind of see all the good stuff. So if we start with the left side, this is the very top of the page and what you'll see first. So you see their photos, you see their location, their reviews right underneath their name. And then you can see their hours, their phone number, where they service, once again, their address there. So this is all very important information and basically essential stuff that if you have a Google business page, that's the bare minimum that you should have. On the right side there, I just grabbed a screenshot of more of their pictures. They have more than what I even put there, but the more pictures you can do of your services, your location, the better. It just gives people more information, more trust and stuff like that as well. On the right next to the pictures there, you'll see a screenshot of some of the reviews. And then at the bottom of that, they have an About Us section. So that's a custom section that anyone can put on their page, just going into a little bit about your business. It's a great way to put, whether it be a story about your business or go more specific about the details of what you offer. It's just a good place because a lot of people end up scrolling through that left side and then they'll scroll down, they'll read your description, see what you have to offer. It's a good place to tell them what you do, if you're local, how long you've been around, that kind of stuff. And at the very bottom there, kind of hard to read because it's small text, but I grabbed 2 examples of what you should be doing with reviews. And this can be for anything. You can put reviews on Facebook, on Google, there's Yelp and stuff like that as well. But when it comes to reviews, you do really need to be responding and interacting with people who are leaving reviews for you, whether it's good or bad. So on the left side here, I have an example of them responding to a good review. This person took the time out of their day to leave them a 5-star review saying that they had excellent service, and they just responded with thank you, glad you had a wonderful experience, and they hope that you're coming back. So that's just showing the customer that they took the time out of their day to respond to their review. And that just shows a layer of like connection between you and the customer, right? It's not just the bad ones that you want to respond to. These people, they aren't being paid. Well, they shouldn't be being paid to leave reviews on your page. So the least that you could do is at least respond to them, show that you're thankful for that, and interact with your community. And on the right side there, I have someone who left a critical review or a 2-star review. So this person wasn't satisfied with their service that they had at the place. So the owner responded with their name and they're like, hey, we're very sorry. And they gave them their contact information, both the email and the phone number for this client to then contact them to try and fix whatever it might be. There's different ways of going about it. So sometimes you can offer a discount for the client. Sometimes you can just be like, hey, so if you come back, we'll try to have a better experience. There's a couple of different ways you can go about it, and it really depends on what you can offer to the customer. But just having that showing that you care and you're willing to try and fix the problem is great.
I think it's a really good strategy because you want to, if especially for review like that, you want to take it offline right away.
Yeah.
Like take it off. Here's my number.
Yeah.
We'll find a solution.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what you
exactly
leave. Take it offline, and
Yeah, that's a really good point as well, is you shouldn't, generally speaking, be trying to resolve anything like this publicly. So even if someone's like leaving comments on your Facebook page or something like that, it's negative comments. You can respond to that publicly, like reply to their comment, but try to take it to phone or email or message or something like that, because resolving that should be between you and the customer or the client, not for other people to read. So the example here of them providing a phone number and email is great because that shows they're taking it offline to deal with the client one-on-one. And another thing as well, when you are responding to negative reviews, I think that also adds another layer of trust, at least in my opinion. When you go and like you see someone's Google page or the Facebook page and they're responding to negative reviews, that shows me that the owner cares about their negative reviews and they're not just leaving them there and moving on, right? They're trying to resolve it. They're taking time out of the day. So they obviously care about their customers and their clients and the services that they're offering. So something to think about when you are doing Google or, like I said, any kind of review system, take those and try to respond to them, try to reply to them, and just make sure you're giving them the best customer service possible. Next here, I'll have a poor example. I obviously blurred out the information here for this business because I don't want to make anyone feel bad about it, because maybe they just haven't had the time or anything yet. But as you can see here, they have much less information. The only information that they have here is they have the business name, they have the business address, and then they have the province. They don't have a phone number, they don't have an email, no website, no nothing, and no reviews. So like if you're searching for a business and you want to contact these people, the only way you're going to be able to do this if you physically go to their place. These guys aren't providing any information. They don't give us a description about their business. They don't tell us anything. So even though they have a Google business profile, if you're a customer looking at this, you're not going to get like almost any value out of this. And two, if Google is trying to recommend this profile to someone, they're also going to have trouble doing that because the business owner didn't provide the information for Google to recommend it. So their Google business profile, like I said, they have one, it's really not doing them any good. So that's why it's so important adding pictures, asking for reviews, responding to them, giving as much information as possible so that it is easy for both the customers and for Google to recommend your page to the right people. So that's really all there is for a Google business profile. Here, this is probably a good one to take a picture of if you don't have a Google business profile yet. I went through and I listed out all the steps of actually making one. So these are realistically only 5 steps that you need to take to make a Google business profile. It only takes about 30, maybe 40 minutes from start to finish to actually complete it. I won't go over it in detail here, but generally speaking, all that you're doing is you're making a Google account. And if you don't, or if you have a Google account, you're just using that, you go to the Google business profile link, and then you go in there, you create it. It'll ask you for some basic information, like what you actually do, your business category. It'll ask you for phone number and your address. And then once you have that information entered in, it just asks you if you serve customers at your business address or if you don't serve customers. If you click the first one where you serve customers at your business address, that basically allows Google to or allows you to put a pin on Google of where your business is on Google Maps so that anyone on Google Maps can find it. And if you select the second option where you don't serve customers at your business address, this just allows you to put a service area. So you can say that I service this area, but I don't have a specific place for people to come and visit. So this is good for like cab companies, for example, right? They generally speaking don't have an actual place for you to go and, sit and wait, but they do have cabs that service an area, so you'd want to use the second option for something like that. Or if you're home-based as well, you probably don't want your home address being listed on Google, so you probably just want to put the area that you serve, and then, people need to come to your place for the service or whatever, then you can just contact the customer and tell them that way. So once you do that, the last section, this is honestly the most tedious section, is number 5 there. Google will need to verify your business before it actually becomes public on Google. This is mostly to reduce spam and fake businesses and stuff like that. So Google will ask one of many ways. So usually phone, text, email, video recording, video chat, or postcards. And one of these methods they'll ask you, usually it's some kind of code, or sometimes you'll chat with the actual representative, and they'll just ask for information to make sure that your business is legitimate and is not just a scam or something like that. It can be kind of tedious and time consuming to do this last part, but you do need to become verified before people can actually see your business profile. And lastly here, I have a small note. So if your business already, like sometimes on Google, someone will have created a business listing for your business, or there might be an old business at the address you're currently at. No matter the case, when something like that happens, you'll want to go onto that page, and I have it underlined there, suggest an edit to have it marked as closed. Because if you mark it as closed and Google closes that business, then that allows you to be able to put your business at that address, or close that page and start a new page if you weren't able to get access to that one as well. It can be a little bit more complicated than that. Sometimes you'll have to end up contacting Google support and whatnot. I've had plenty of people come to me with this issue, and even sometimes I can't figure it out. But if you're really confused or whatever, please feel free to reach out to me, because there are a lot of people that have Google business profiles or old ones and stuff like that, and they don't know how to get rid of them. So if you do have an old one, make sure you mark it as closed before starting a new one. There is a lot of issues when you have 2 of the same profiles that can happen. So, and that's it for Google. Before I move on to SEO, does anyone have any specific questions about Google business profiles right now? Yep.
Yeah, thank you for the info.
Yeah.
I'm not a computer savvy, but
Mhm.
I understand a bit about that. So I have a Google account.
Yep.
Is that Google account considered as a website, or it's different?
No, so it is different than a website. Websites, generally speaking, are like their own thing that like you type into the address bar and it takes you to a website. Whereas the Google business profile or Google business account, whatever you want to call it, that is just on Google itself. So like you can link your Google business profile and your website together so that like one can go to the other, but they are separate from each other. It's kind of hard to explain without actual visuals, but if you're interested, or I can clarify that further for you, let me know. We can meet after and I can show you the differences. So.
Appreciate that, because I did register it myself,
Mhm.
and I edited the name of my business
Yep.
from the previews.
Yep.
And then because I was trying to respond on the reviews.
Yes.
I couldn't get into it, and the name itself is not editing and it's not changing. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, I could definitely help you with that if you'd like,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
I mentioned there, when you have to go in and change old ones or edit the old ones and stuff, there can be a lot of issues with that. So yeah, if you're interested, please let me know. I'll have my contact information and we can talk after as well.
Thank you.
So, of course. So moving on here, that was generally speaking all the basic information that you need to know about Google business pages. Like I mentioned, if you have other questions and stuff like that, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. But now I want to talk a bit about SEO, or search engine optimization. So as I touched on earlier, SEO is the process of optimizing your online presence. So whether it be websites, Google pages, social media, Basically just to be ranked higher in search engines. So you want to be at the top whenever someone's searching for your business or something related to your business, right? That's all our goal at the end of the day, is to be at that top so that more people are likely to visit us and more customers, more clients, so on and so forth. So what do search engines actually look for? So there are a few specific things like keywords, backlinks, the age of your stuff, how relevant is it, the click-through rate, and much more. There are so many variables when it comes to search engine optimization that we will probably be here all day just talking about the different things that go into it. But there are some key ones that we'll talk about on the next slide, which are like the most important that we can actually change and focus on. A lot of these like click-through rate and backlinks and keywords, these might be things that are a little bit complicated. So if you guys have questions, whatever, let me know. I'll be talking about specifically keywords and backlinks. Other stuff like age, relevancy, those are kind of self-explanatory, like the age, how long it's been there, and relevancy, if it's relevant to what they're searching for. Those are also things that play a factor. So like I said, any questions and stuff like that, let me know. And as I mentioned, not everything the search engine looks for we can actually change. So for example, age, we can't make our pages older to make them, more verified and stuff like that. The sooner we create one, the better, but that's not something that we can change, right? So there are certain things like that where no matter what you do, you can't change it, but we can just do the things or focus on the things that we can change to try and give us the best chance at being ranked higher. So the 4 things that I want to talk about here will be keywords, consistency, accuracy, and backlinks/referrals. So keywords, once again, when people talk about SEO, this is probably the main thing people hear about, but they don't actually fully understand. Keywords are just words that the search engines use to try and get your content to the right people. So when you're thinking of keywords, you want to use stuff that's related to whatever you're posting and try to put that in your captions, your descriptions, in your actual posts, just so anyone looking for that kind of thing can hopefully find it by searching for those words. So let's say you're barber salon, we'll just use that because I already talked about them. You'll want to use things like, best local haircuts in your descriptions, or if you do very specific things, like we do hair dyeing, we do braiding, you want to use those words in your posts and your description. So when people are searching for things like hair dyeing near me or hair dyeing white court, you're more likely to pop up with that kind of thing. And so that goes for all your content. If you're doing it on Facebook as well, you want to try and put keywords into your Facebook posts so that people are looking on Facebook, then, they search for something, you'll be more likely to pop up when they're looking for that kind of stuff. There are a lot of small things to think about when it comes to keywords. So for example, there are keywords that are very popular that, everyone might use, which sounds good in theory, but then you have to realize there's a lot of competition for those keywords. So if you're using something that's very popular right now, so let's say I want to make a post about artificial intelligence and I'm talking about ChatGPT and I put that in my post, even though people searching for ChatGPT might see my post, there are hundreds, if not thousands of posts that are also using those exact same words. So it's important to try and find a good balance of stuff that is popular, but stuff that not everyone is using. It's very tricky and it's a very case-by-case scenario, but just something to think about. You're like, okay, is this a trending thing right now? Is this even going to matter if I put it in my post because there's so much competition? Yeah, there's a lot of nuances when it comes to that.
When it comes to keywords.
Yep.
Is there an optimal amount of keywords? Like you can load your actual keywords in behind.
Yeah.
Is it good to have 110 or is it good to have 10?
It's tough to say. Once again, a lot of stuff is kind of case by case. My general rule of thumb is, let's say you're making a post or you're making a description on something, I try to put almost as many keywords as I can in there with it still sounding natural. So you don't just want to put like keyword after keyword after keyword. You want to put the keywords into sentences, right? So you want to make it seem natural because people are going to be seeing these words that you're putting. So if you just put keyword, 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 anyone that's,
No, I guess I'm talking about backloading keywords in the.
oh,
site.
like in, you're talking about like on a website, you know, when they have the, oh, there's a term for it, I forget. But like on the website, you have a specific page for putting keywords. Yeah, I guess the more that you can put, the better, but one of the things I'll talk about here, next is accuracy. You want to make sure that it's not something that's inaccurate or not relevant to your business as well. Because let's say you put something that, you know, like might be relevant, might not be, that can actually lower the, what's called a click-through rate, which I mentioned there. So if someone is searching for something and your business pops up for that thing, but you don't actually offer or do that thing and they don't end up clicking through to your business, that lowers your click-through rate, which then makes your profile, technically speaking, less likely to pop up for that thing. Because Google's like, oh, they searched for this thing, but they didn't click on this profile, they didn't click on this website, so it must not be relevant. So, yeah.
So you were saying like, in connection to what she was saying there. So you're trying to key in the keyword that is unique, but it's also related. to
Yes.
What you are selling or what you are marketing.
Yes, exactly. It needs to be unique enough so that like you don't have a ton of competition
Yes.
for that word. But it also needs to be a word that people are actually looking for and searching for while still being relevant to your business or to your services, right? So like I said, generally speaking, the more that you can put, the better. But you have to try and keep it accurate and relevant to what you're actually doing, what your business is offering, and whatever the post might be about, that kind of thing, right? So, yeah, once again, kind of a case by case thing, but yeah, it's very tricky. It can be very complicated. So just do your best to put accurate stuff and keep it relevant, but don't put things that are just, you know, aren't relevant at all, because that can end up hurting you in the long run. So does that kind of get you in the right direction?
So where is Google checking for keywords?
So on the Google business page, it'll mainly be your description. That'll be the main place that they're looking for keywords. They do technically look through like the reviews and the like the questions and answers and stuff as well. But you can't really control those because that's what other people put on your stuff, right? So you can, I mean, I guess like if you're asking for reviews and stuff, you can ask for people to say like, hey, can you mention that we did hair dyeing or something like that, right? But the only thing that you
That's
can
its
really,
default though, to check its own, the business description.
yeah, exactly. That's the main area that we can control, right? Is that description. Having good photos as well. So if your photos have pictures of stuff, like let's say, once again, hair cutting, if you have pictures of like someone with dyed hair, your business profile can actually pop up when someone searches for dyed hair green or something like that, right? And they go to images, your images from your business profile can pop up in that as well. So once again, that's why it's important to put many pictures up there, so people are looking for relevant stuff that might end up
So I'm
stumbling
gonna switch
across
it from,
pictures.
just because I'm in retail.
Yep.
I own a pet store.
Yep.
So could I take a picture of an Acana dog food bag and then Canadian Naturals and
Yep.
like those top brands?
Yep.
And put those on the Google business page? Would
Yeah,
it help with
100%.
that?
Yeah, if you can
Okay.
take pictures of your products and stuff like that and put that on your page, that is
Like
really
we have a
good.
website and all that.
Yep.
But it's not on our Google business page for sure.
Yeah, putting them on there can really only help you in two ways. One, it lets people see what you're offering when they're visiting your page. And two, like we were mentioning there, anyone that is searching for that kind of stuff, not guaranteed your images are gonna pop up, but if they are searching for that specific stuff, your images might pop up when they're looking for it, right?
Right.
So yeah, if you can put that on there and
Is
have it
there a
on your
limit
Google
then?
page.
How many?
What was that, sorry?
So does Google limit that cache or the size of how many pictures you
I-
can put on?
Don't believe so. You don't, so when it comes to pictures, once again, it's a balance of quality as well. So you don't want to just spam every single item that you have on your thing, right? It'd be probably, generally speaking, better take pictures of your key items, maybe the ones that you sell the most, and then maybe pictures of like your walls and your aisles and stuff like that, right?
I have that.
Yeah, so having that kind of stuff on there will be more than fine. Because like the thing is this, if you upload tons and tons of pictures, it could be flagged as spam at that point and might end up hurting you in the long run, right? So you want to make sure it's still quality stuff, it's relevant, and probably just put the most important things on there. And then just work from there, right? You have the important things and then, yeah, there's not like a hard cap, I guess, to answer your question. There's no hard limit, but putting too much can end up hurting you in the long run. So, yeah, all this stuff is about balance and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And of course, it will be much different for retail versus someone that's a salon, right? Because salon people will want to update their stuff with the new hairstyles and stuff like that. Whereas you guys, you want to just update with new items and stuff like that you might get, or you might get a new display or whatever. So yeah, just depends. So next, consistency, as I've kind of been mentioning throughout, having consistency in both your quality and your frequency is essential because a search engine notices, if a search engine notices either one, you stop posting, like let's say you go 1 or 2 months without changing anything, or you're not posting, whether it be your social media or website or your business profile. And it'll take note of that and be like, okay, maybe they're becoming inactive or maybe they're not focusing on this anymore. So they'll recommend you less. Or if you have a significant drop in quality, so let's say you're spamming out posts or you're spamming out images or you're trying to fit as many keywords in your post as possible, that can kind of hurt the quality of it. So you might get flagged for that as well. And once again, that will drop your recommendation level. So it might not get pushed as much, whereas if you just had high quality stuff that you kept it consistent, right? So, and as I mentioned, once again, it very depends on like your actual business style, what you do, because like someone that's in retail probably isn't gonna post as much as someone in hairdressing, or someone that's a cab company probably will almost never have to really post about anything because there's not a whole lot that they can post, right? So depends what you need, depends what you're doing and what you actually can make, and trying to make sure that the stuff is high quality and accurate as well. So I guess then we'll move on to accuracy. As we were mentioning before, ensuring all this stuff is accurate and up to date will help push it a little bit more. If someone goes to your Google business page and your hours are inaccurate and someone goes to your store and then they end up leaving, Google actually does, if you have it set on your phone, Google does track where you go and where you're staying and how long you're visiting and stuff like that. So let's say I'm searching for a place, I go to visit it and then I go there and it's closed and I immediately leave. Google will actually take note of that if I have the tracking on, and they'll be like, oh, why'd this person go to this place and immediately leave? Maybe their hours are inaccurate, or maybe they moved location and stuff like that and didn't change. So that kind of thing can actually affect your likelihood to be recommended. So just making sure you're keeping that stuff updated and keeping it accurate as well, that'll help a lot. And lastly, we got backlinks / referrals. So a backlink / referral is basically just when anyone else, whether it be from another social media page, another website, a news article, anything like that, when they have a direct link to your stuff. So whether they link to your website or to your business page or to your social media pages, that's all counts as a backlink. And basically what that is doing is that is building trust in Google's backend, being like, okay, this person is getting referrals and links from other pages that we already trust. So they're looking at that and be like, okay, this person's getting a link from this page and this page and this news article. So that's gonna build your hidden like trust factor, if you want to call it, in Google's backend, and be like, okay, maybe we'll start recommending them to more people because they're getting links from other pages and other businesses. So this one's a little bit harder to do because that does require working with other people. Sometimes people might just link your page just because they're feeling nice, or, you know, rant and rave and stuff like that. They might put a link to your page, which can definitely help. I mean, I guess if it's a nice one, it might help, but if it's a rant, it might not. But yeah, it can be good if you can, you know, work with other businesses and be like, hey, you know, let's do something, let's collaborate together, let's give each other backlinks and referrals. That can help both of you guys out in the long run, right? So something to think about, but it can be a little bit trickier to actually get that one sorted. So lastly here, I just have a couple of links here for actual more information and support. As we've gone through and you guys have had a couple of questions, you can tell this stuff can be very complicated and there's so many different factors and variables when it comes to all this stuff. So the first one I put there is for the Google business page support. So if you go to that link right there, if you have questions about setting up a Google business page or specific functions or whatever, you can basically always find the answers there. I honestly visit that quite frequently when I'm working with a client and I don't know. I'll generally go to that first and I'll usually find the answer there. The second one is Google search engine optimization resources. So the link that I put there is to their search engine optimization starter guide. So that will basically to get you started. So if you want to learn a little bit more about search engine optimization, a little bit more about the technical side and how that all works, definitely give that a look. There is tons and tons and tons of information on that exact link there. So like I said, that's just a starter guide, but it goes much more in depth and you can get quite crazy with it if you really want to. And lastly is Digital Service Squad, me. So if any of you are interested, you own a small business, you know someone who does run a small business, please feel free. I love helping people and that is my job. So if you have questions about any of this kind of stuff, or you want help with any kind of technology, or just looking at something, maybe you need something fixed or you just don't know how to do it, reach out to me. If I can help you, I'll organize, we'll have a meeting, we'll get it done. If I can't help you, I'll try to get you to the right place or give you the right resources so that you can figure it out. So that about wraps it up. And lastly here, I just have all my contact information. So we have our phone number there, my email address, our website, and our actual office building. I do also have cards here if anyone is interested and would like to take a card. Or if you'd like to sign up today as well, I have no problem getting your information and I can get you signed up for the Digital Service Squad and we can organize our meeting later. And if we have time, I don't know what we're looking at, but I love to chat, take more questions and stuff like that as